Hello everyone and welcome back to my Senate election prediction videos where I take a look at the Senate races going on across America in 2022 and give you my thoughts, analysis, and predictions on the race. And today we are looking at the state of Pennsylvania, a seat currently held by the Republican Party and Senator Pat Toomey. Toomey is in his second term and announced his retirement in October of 2020, setting up an open election in 2022 for the Senate seat. In February of 2021, Toomey voted for conviction in Donald Trump's second impeachment trial. Since arriving in the Senate in 2011, Toomey has been consistently ranked as one of the most conservative senators in the Senate. Toomey's margin of victory in 2016 was 1%. In a race that he was widely expected to lose, but ended up winning an impressive election on election night. Close, but he won it. In 2016, Donald Trump won the state of Pennsylvania by less than a percentage point over Hillary Clinton. In 2020, Joe Biden won the state of Pennsylvania by a percentage point over Donald Trump. The two nominees. The Democratic nominee is Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. Fetterman has served as Lieutenant Governor since 2019, serving alongside Governor Tom Wolf. Fetterman won a fairly easy primary. He won every county in the state and faced some stiff competition from Congressman Connor Lamb and State Assemblyman John Kenyante. Fetterman suffered a stroke on the Friday prior to the primary, and his campaign downplayed how serious it was at the time. It's later come out that was a quite serious stroke and that it was possibly touch and go for quite some time with Fetterman. But Fetterman has made a recovery from the stroke and has been actively campaigning mostly virtually throughout the campaign, but has also made a lot of in-person appearances. Fetterman has raised an incredible amount of money and has really focused his campaign on the issues of jobs, keeping jobs in Pennsylvania, because he's from Braddock, which is a steel town located around Pittsburgh that has seen a significant population decline since the collapse of the steel industry. Fetterman is one of the more progressive Democrats. If you were to put him on the ideological spectrum of the Democratic Party, he would be certainly much closer to Bernie Sanders than he would be Joe Biden. But he has tried to move towards the center during this race and has really positioned himself as an everyday kind of guy. The Republican nominee is Dr. Mehmet Oz. Oz, of course, is a long-time media figure, rising to prominence because of his role as a physician and appearing on many popular television shows. In addition to serving as a media consultant, Oz for some time was a professor of medicine at Columbia University. Oz is a first-time political candidate. This is the first time Oz has ever ran for political office. Oz had a very competitive primary. He faced off against several other Republicans in the race, but the most prominent was Dave McCormick. And Oz only won the race by about 1,100 votes, and he won it on the strength of day of voters. Oz received the endorsement of former President Trump in the primary, and many people believe that was the thing that helped push Oz over the top, was the endorsement from Trump. Oz has had lackluster fundraising numbers. A lot of his money has been self-funded, loans to the campaign, and also receiving infusions from Republican Super PAC. The big thing that Oz has focused on in this campaign has been crime and inflation. He's really hammered Fetterman on crime the last month of the campaign, and also has criticized Fetterman for downplaying the seriousness of his stroke. And, you know, saying Fetterman's running a campaign from his basement has been the charge that Oz has leveled against Fetterman. Where the race is going. This race, in about August, and even up to mid-September, looked like that Fetterman was running away with it. The poll numbers were quite dramatic. Fetterman, I think, at one point had like a 12-point lead. That lead over the month of October and into the first days of November has evaporated, and now it's just a few points. In some polls, Oz is up, but in most of the polls, Fetterman is still up. Fetterman has really honed in on the fact, that pointing out Oz is out of touch, issues, pointing out, about his questionable connections to Pennsylvania. And Oz has focused on Fetterman's really competency. They had a debate on Thursday of the week I'm filming this. I'm filming this on November 1st. So about 5 days ago, they had a debate. And because of his stroke, Fetterman used captions and was a little sluggish in some of his answers. And a lot of people after the debate, their reaction was like, "Oh my, that was a horrible performance." And you did see some tightening of the race in some of the polls, and in some Republican-funded polls, you actually saw Oz take the lead. This is an incredibly important race for the United States Senate, for control of the United States Senate. I am of the opinion this race in Nevada are your majority makers. And my belief is that this is probably, of all the races this year, the only chance with the political environment is what it is that Democrats have for a flip. And I believe that's what's going to happen. So for the first time this year, we have a flip. John Fetterman is going to win the open Senate seat, and it is going to change from a Republican seat to a Democratic seat. So Fetterman elected to the Senate. I'll be back on here tomorrow with my other Senate race, the race that could determine if Democrats have 51 seats or if Democrats have 50 seats. But we'll see then. Also, this race pretty much, depending on the outcome of the Georgia race, that I believe is going to a runoff, pretty much ensures that Democrats are still in the hunt. So I'll see y'all then.